This is the Bystial Fiendsmith deck that I've been testing out a bit. The main deck is actually the exact same as Janara Matches, who got top 64 at YCS Orlando. The reason why I didn't change anything, because I don't really think there is anything that needs to be changed from the main. I like maxing out all the Fiendsmith cards, maxing out all the Bystials. Like, I don't see why you wouldn't. This format, just so much like light and dark decks, so much Fiendsmith going around. And then the hand traps, I also just don't think there is any need to change any of the hand traps. Ash Valor, Ogre Nib, Fulos. The only questionable one is Imperm, as you can see it's not on our main or side. And the reason for that is that Imperm kind of conflicts with Bystials a bit. When you're versing something like RYZEAL, a lot of times you want to like Bystial their Engraver or the Requiem, but you can't because you have an Imperm in your hand, so you need to like kind of save it and then wait for your own turn. And that's kind of just like awkward. So I decided just not playing the main at all, and I mean, it's been going pretty well that way. The other thing that's wrong with Imperm is that you can't activate it if you draw it off of regained. For example, like during your opponent's turn, if you Bystial them, instead of drawing Imperm, which is going to be a dead card, and you also can't use it on your next turn as like a normal summon, you could draw something like Ogre, and that way you could actually use it. And like worst case scenario, you like if you can't use it on that turn, you get to normal summon the next turn, make like a lineup. Well, this deck probably has maybe like a 90% win rate versus RYZEAL. I've lost to one RYZEAL player. I have like 20 plus games, so it's like very difficult to lose that deck. It's very strong. You just hand trap them into Oblivion. Literally plays 3, 6, 9, 12, 15 hand traps, and then every Bystial like 25 non-engine, and then 3 Llewellyn. So for the side deck, I realized this deck doesn't have as good as a Malice matchup that it does RYZEAL. So I'm siding both Lancia and Chaos Hunter. You usually have as many cards just like stop Malice, and then typically when you Chaos Hunter them, you really just want to play passively. You don't want to play into Nib, because that's like your only way you lose. If they can't out Chaos Hunter turn 1, they're not going to be out of turn 2 either. So typically you just want to play like a bit safer. And I'm playing Fenrir and Solemn Strike. So a lot of lists were just on Fenrir, and they weren't on Solemn Strike, but I think it's important that you play both. The reason for that is that this deck kind of has a difficult time going first when you get like Fulos. So like if you start off with like an Engraver, like Interact, some Lurie, your opponent Fuloses you, there's really like not a lot you can do, and if you don't have like an abundance of hand traps to back it up, like you kind of just lose. So I think having like really strong going first cards like Fenrir and Strike, so when you do activate the Engraver, if you could just like start off with a Fenrir instead and set Strike, like there's really hard for your opponent to kill you, and then you can play more on your next turn. And then for the last side card, which is Prulia, this card is really good into every RYZEAL variant, good into Fiendsmith RYZEAL, good into Pure, which is actually pretty sure at YCS Birmingham there's like 10 Pure or something in Top Cut, which is crazy. And it's also strong into the Mitsurugi deck. So for onto the extra deck, only one Desert is debating playing 2 of this, but I just didn't think that it was worth playing 2. It definitely comes up with like Paradise, or if your opponent like Bystials banishes it, you want the second. But I think just having 1 is fine for now. That hasn't really come up too much in my testing. Something that definitely is mandatory is 2 Requiem. 2 Requiem comes up a lot. Sometimes like you just like sometimes you still have access to the second one. Like even if it doesn't get Bystial, there's times where you still just want to summon the second Requiem from your extra deck. That way like if you need to like equip one to your Engraver and then you send it, and then you have like Lacrim on field that you need to get 2 level 6s. So sometimes like 2 Requiem definitely comes up when I got it. Sequence, Agnum Day, Princess, all pretty standard cards you need to play. SP is just good. I don't think I'd ever cut the card from a deck like this. And then a card that's like not a lot of people were on at the time, but I think people will be playing in the future, is Goblin's Crazy Beast. This card reads that you get to you target a spell trap on the field. You detach 2 materials from any monster in the field, like anything. You detach from your opponent's detonator, your opponent's duo, whatever. And then you attach the targeted card, so the spell trap you targeted, to this card. And then if this was your battle card effect, you get to detach material from this instead. And when this is in the graveyard, you just get a special summon it for free. But you can only use it once per duel, but you only need to do it once. So it just outs like Detonator plus Cross. Like you summon this with like 2 Bystials on your opponent's turn. you go straight into this. Your opponent like tries to like your opponent can't even really pop it because you use protect. So you just activate, you have the cross, and then you can just like Zeus them. So yeah, this card's very strong. And then M7's card is also really good. Going second when you're breaking a board, you would usually make this. Like typically towards like the end, once you use like Fiendsmith and Bystial to break most of your interruptions, you'd make M7, either try to add back a Bystial or a hand trap. Your opponent will like impermit, and then you just turn it into Zeus. Caesar, which you would use like turn 1. Typhon sometimes comes up turn 3 a lot, like after you go first. Your opponent kind of like breaks through your board a little, and then you just like end up Typhoning them after they use all their resources. Then like Dweller Detonator, and then you just go summon Typhon, bounce the Detonator, attack or the Dweller, and they just don't really have anything. Obviously, Zeus this card's broken. You literally couldn't play the deck without it, really. Chaos Angel is super easy to make this deck. You play 3 Lacrima, so Bystial your opponent on their turn, normal summon Lacrima, no effect, just make Angel, banish whatever they have. And then Moon to convert any 2 bodies, and Lina. I didn't see a lot of people play Lina, and I'm not really too sure why. It's really good. It lets you turn like Lubellion plus a body into Lina, and then you could like Lina steal their Fiendsmith cards, and then it just generates you like another body. So instead of only having like 2 bodies into turning Moon into Requiem, you have 2 bodies into Lina, and then you have the Lina body, so you can make like SP or something. And then you can also obviously take like Detonator and attach your own guy. So yeah, this deck has like a crazy high win rate versus RYZEAL. I think with additions to Chaos Hunter and Solemn Strike, it's also gonna have a higher positive match into Malice. Solemn Strike just destroys Malice. You hit like a Link 3, and like their turn's over. Like they just can't really do anything from there. So yes, I think this is a really strong pick if you're looking to just beat the RYZEAL deck. Or even Malice. I think it just has a really high win rate into both. The mirror is a little bit iffy. Definitely like very skillful. So yeah, that'll be all. So yeah.